just 3 times over the last 3 years. Ryan Clark's still here with us. All right, from Max's Giants to Stephen A's Steelers. Stephen A., what do you think is going to happen this weekend? Is it going to be a Steelers or a Titans?
I'm rolling with the Steelers. Don't get me wrong. I'm not that sure about it. I'm not going to sit up here and stick out my chest like that. I should be confident in it. I mean, the Tennessee Titans are the real deal. Make no mistake about it, particularly considering the way the combination of Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill have been performing over the last 16 games, which I saw a Greeny highlight on Get Up yesterday morning. Let me say this, though. I believe in the Steelers' defense against the run. And I believe once you neutralize the run, even though it's going to be a load to do against Derrick Henry because he's that kind of monster, the reality is that you're daring Ryan Tannehill to beat you. And I think that that's what you put your money on if you're the Steelers defense. I got questions about this secondary because they got a bunch of short dudes there with Hayden and the crew. But I believe in Fitzpatrick. I believe in Tuitt. I believe in Watt and these boys. And I believe they will get to Ryan Tannehill. They will rattle him. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be hard fought. I respect the hell out of Mike Vrabel. He's my coach of the year thus far. I don't care what anybody says. I think Mike Vrabel has done I think he's done a hell of a job. But I just love the kind of attitude you see in his players. They're rough riders. They don't back down from anybody. They always come ready to fight. And I love Vrabel as a coach. But you know how I feel about my brother Mike Tomlin, too. And he ain't going anywhere. And I think that Big Ben Roethlisberger with these crew, Claypool and all of these brothers, Juju Smith-Schuster's got to step up. James Conner continue giving me those 100-yard games. I think if there was ever a game for the Steelers to step up, it would be this game because as far as I'm concerned, you haven't really beaten anybody yet. This is the team. You better come ready. I think they know it. I think they will respond to the challenge. The steel curtain will rise to the occasion.
All right.
And somehow, some way, Henry and Tannehill will be neutralized. Somebody got to say it because I can't seem to rely upon a former Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers to do it.
Goodness.
Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. That's why I'm doing it, okay? Somebody's got to do it. Look at you looking like a pastor. I didn't even notice that for a second. You look like a pastor, bro. I was told Marcus Spears a pastor, but now you look like one.
Ryan Tannehill's so great. I love Mike Vrabel. And then somewhere in the middle, you remembered you were a Steelers fan and you were like, oh, let me say something good about Mike.
So you're accusing me of being mad.
Let me say something good about
So you're accusing me of being mad.
He didn't say you made a great point. He said that you're he said you contradicted yourself. Look, real quick, because I want Ryan to get at you.
Right.
But I like Tennessee in this game. Tennessee's had an uneven defensive season so far, but I think by and large they're a good defense. They had a good defensive performance against the Bills, a bad one against the Texans. Like they're up and down. But a good defense is playing a great defense in Pittsburgh, especially against the run, and that's the Tennessee strength, right? This is why I'm taking Tennessee. Remember what you said last week, Stephen A., about how Baker Mayfield's going to have to get it done because they're not going to let them run. They're not going to let the Browns run. Baker couldn't do it. And I talk a lot about how very few quarterbacks would be great no matter who they were around, no matter what coaching they got, all that stuff. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes are going to be great no matter what system, who's their coach, who their teammates. They were going to be great. Most quarterbacks fall in the middle somewhere, right? Okay, I get that. So Baker Mayfield's better with Stefanski. Ryan Tannehill, who looked like a first-round bust, has been excellent since he's been in Tennessee. He turned the fortunes of that team around. It's not like they didn't have Derrick Henry before he got there. How good? Last year he was top 10 in QBR. He was 9th. Know what he is this year? 4th. He's actually an excellent player. That doesn't mean, independent of coaching, he was going to be great no matter what. Clearly, we've seen that is not the case. Although with Adam Gase, it's the new Jeff Fisher for you, Stephen A. So that's really a bad situation.
I think Adam Gase is worse than Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, could be. No, actually, it's Jeff Fisher minus the track record, right? But the point is that just because you give someone the right situation and the right coaching doesn't mean they'll be excellent. They might go from bad to okay or good enough. Tannehill went from looking like a bust to excellent. He's been excellent. Red zone, everything, excellent. So I think if you dare him to beat you, he will, and I like Tennessee.
Listen, I'm not going to do what Stephen A. did because Stephen A. keeps going back to last week because we asked a question about which quarterback needed to play better. Had you asked me who was going to win, I would have told you the Steelers, and it was easy. The same way I did later on NFL Live. But you want to just pander to the fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers and say, "Oh, look, I'm a fan. Ryan Clark ain't believing you." No, you ain't asked me that question. You asked for a different analysis. But you today, when they ask you to pick a winner, what you say? "Oh, well, I'm not that confident in it." This not the man that was dancing around his house after the Dallas Cowboys lost, is it? Right? This ain't the dude that was eating chocolate chip cookies and milk all on his IG. That's not the guy I know.
That's reserved for the Cowboy fans. That's reserved for the Cowboy fans. They hold a special place in my heart.
Let me tell you. Hey, so here is going to be the thing. This is what I know about the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is what I know about preparation. When Mike Tomlin can focus the Pittsburgh Steelers on one thing that people in Pittsburgh hold near and dear to their hearts, that's when they're the best. The one thing he's going to get this defense focused on is physicality.
Are you all right? We hear you. Listen, I understand where Ryan's coming from. And we're going to invite him back. He's having technical difficulties right now. It's apropos because when you try to come at me, things happen. Bad things happen to you. And that's karma. That's what I'm trying to say. But in the end, listen.
That's not karma.
Are you there? Are you back?
There he comes. There he comes.
In Stephen's world, it could be Carmen, but to you,
I'm just saying. You were back. You were back. I was just looking out.
You know what that was? That's what all Jay-Z fans wanted to do before Nas dropped Ether. They wanted to cut his mic off. That's what that was about because they already knew it was about to happen.
Jay-Z got Nas. Jay-Z got Nas. Stop it.
I know. Ryan.
Contrary
to
popular
belief, taking the takeover this. We'll talk about this on your show.
Yep.
We'll talk about this on your show.
I know that's not what the popular opinion is, but they're wrong.
Listen, they're going to be focused on physicality. And this game is going to be about small spaces. And the reason I say small spaces was whenever we would get upset on defense in Pittsburgh, I'd always tell them, if that's the guy, just give me a small space. Because in small spaces, you can't hide your character. In small spaces, you can't run. You can't flinch. You can't blink. This is what this game's going to be about. Somebody's going to have to come downhill and attack Derrick Henry. Somebody's going to have to come downhill and figure out that the run game has to be stopped by being the more aggressive, the more violent man. And I believe the more violent men play defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Robert Spillane has no ego, nothing to lose. Vince Williams has been counted out, has been underdog his whole entire career. TJ Watt, Bud Dupree, Cam Hayward. They're going to have to make Ryan Tannehill beat him. But when Ryan Tannehill has to beat him, he's not playing against the Buffalo Bills defense that hasn't been good. He's not playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars defense that hasn't been good. This is going to be a statement game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got pushed back. They feel some type of way about that. This won't even be close. They will beat them by 2 scores.
They will beat them by 2 scores. Hold on, Max. Ryan, I don't disagree with you. I got to ask you this question, though, because I was curious about this. Derrick Henry is one of the more powerful running backs we've seen in NFL history. Don't get me wrong. We've seen others, the Earl Campbells of the world and others, but he's one of the more powerful running backs. He runs straight up. Can you explain to me why everyone's always trying to hit him high? I'm not encouraging anybody to go after his knees and stuff like that. I want this guy around, and I can't stand it when I see guys going after guys.
Stay away from that
tackling. But I'm just asking, could you explain to me why people try to tackle this guy high? It makes no sense to me. What am I missing?
Okay, I have a question. I have a question for both of you. In all of Derrick Henry's highlights, when have you ever seen him stiff arm or run over anyone that's close to his size?
Never. Well,
Never.
I will say this.
All
when
you
he turned
ever see
Earl Thomas around, Earl Thomas ain't no small dude now.
Earl Thomas is a small dude. And he's in a position
but Ryan,
to where
if you
he's
get
trying
to the second
Derrick
level
Henry
of the
down.
defense, a big running back is not going to find someone his size.
Maybe I got some problems with my eyes, Ryan.
This is what I'm
next
telling you.
to both.
Hey,
Earl Thomas don't seem like that small of a dude to me.
Stephen A. Smith. Earl is 5'10". Stephen A. Smith, this is what I'm telling you. He has late play bravery. He don't have the same type of bravery when he around them dogs. I'm letting you know, and I've watched every single snap of every game. When he's in that mess and them boys are the same size, he don't run the same. He has late bravery.